Well, my name's Robin, and I'm from Sydney, Australia, but I've been living for the past 20 years in Tokyo, in Japan. And I went there in 1996 to study martial arts with the idea of staying for about a year, and I'm still there after 20. So I work as a headhunter, a recruiter, and I have my own company over there, and have several staff working for me as well. Why did I come here? This is my first experience with anything of this nature, this medicinal nature, this healing nature. I have very limited experience in dealing with any other plant medicines or anything like that. I've never had mushrooms. I've only worked with marijuana like a handful of times, and I'm 44 years old, so I'm probably in that very small batch of people who I've just jumped in the deep end by, that's what everyone told me, by coming here on this retreat. I'm just going to be going straight into the deep end. I really, as hippie as it might sound, I really felt a calling to do this. Like most people, I have some irrational fears I think I was dealing with, since childhood, and nothing terrible, nothing major, but certainly things that I think were holding me back from really achieving, everything I believe I'm capable of. And that goes for in business, in relationships, just in life in general. And I had the feeling there were some core fears that if I could address, that would really take care of all the other little things in my life that weren't really at the level that I hope they would be. And having read some things about ayahuasca, then of course the natural thing was to try and see where can I do this. And I researched the hell out of this thing. I mean, I looked at several retreats, several websites, spoke to people. I'm a massive fan of Graham Hancock, and I went to one of his talks, and I asked him, well, where do you suggest I go? And he actually mentioned the temple. And so I researched it, and it was clear from the outset. I mean, while looks can be deceiving, just looking at the website, it was clear that the temple had their stuff together. It looked like a wonderful retreat location. It looked well organized, and I love the layout of the 12-day program as well. So anyway, I booked to do that, and just completed a 12-day retreat. I had really no idea what to expect, and I tried to go in with no expectations, of course, but of course there were expectations. You see some wonderful testimonials of life, transformative experiences, and it's hard not to want the same for yourself. And but I think I really approached this on a few different levels, and one was addressing the fears and things like that. The other was also about just finding my direction. Getting some clarity about direction and purpose in life, and then that includes in my career and business and things like that. The other big one is, I feel I've been a seeker for maybe 15, 16 years, and that seeking has taken me through various philosophies and paths, very much of a non-dualistic nature: Taoism, Zen, Sufism, Kabbalah, Advaita Vedanta, Gnosticism, all these kind of things I really resonate with. And but I feel over 15 years I just piled on a lot of concepts, and they all sounded great, intellectually, mentally. I resonated. I understood conceptually, but I hadn't tasted it. And so that was really, I think, my biggest desire, was to really have a direct revelation, an experiential grasp of this, of what all these philosophies I think are pointing to. And I was led to believe that ayahuasca could, promise to, well, not promise, but an opportunity to do that. And let me say, my expectations were met. It's been a wonderful experience, and in so many ways. I have a long way to go. By no means have I, graduated, if there's such a thing. But I feel that over the past 12 days, the past 7 ceremonies, the changes, some very subtle, and most quite subtle, but some very, very clear as well. I think they're going to have a major impact in all areas of my life. I mean, I play so many roles as a boss, as a husband, as a father, as a friend, as a son, as a vendor to my clients. All these different roles, but I feel that I can, with this kind of change that's happened within my core, I feel that's going to influence all of those roles. and for a very positive way. And I think to sum it up really kind of simply, if I had to say, what do I feel I really got from this? I think it's an invitation and a confidence and a comfort to be myself, to be authentic, and to be present. And I think it really comes down to presence. I used to spend so much time in here, in my mind, as the facilitators used to point out to me quite regularly during the retreat. But the more I was able to just be with myself, be with the moment, and it worked. I mean, I think a large part of it is this setting. It's incredible. I mean, you're literally in the Amazon jungle, but it's so well organized. I mean, and it's massive. It's a massive retreat. The tumbos, the little houses where you stay, are fantastic. You're really able to switch off. I didn't turn my phone on once. I didn't even think about work, and that's amazing for me, because 2 weeks before I came here, I started a new company, a new business, and for the 10 months prior, it's been non-stop. I've been burning the candle at both ends. Just so much stress, just consumed by getting this business launched by September 1st, knowing I was coming here 2 weeks later. And fortunately, it went well. But I thought, I've got a lot of people now that I've basically said, okay, well, thanks for joining. I'll be back in 2 weeks. I'm hoping they're still there when I get back. But the thing what really stood out for me was I spent so much time on my mind visualizing how things could be, or how things were, or how things could be. And I used to spend very little time just embracing what is, the way things are. But that's all I've done for the past 12 days. I haven't thought about work at all. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but it's been refreshing for me. I just needed that time to disengage. So I think it's a combination of the medicine, the people here, the facilitators, the fellow passengers on this journey, and the setting. It's just all those things. It's like the perfect storm. They just come together and form this great environment which allows you to really be with the medicine, to let the medicine do its thing, and without any interruption. And I think so overall, it's been great. And if I just say about the ceremonies themselves, I mean, fantastic. Working with 5 maestros and maestras, 5 shamans, and each of them brings something unique to the experience, and you're getting the collective wisdom of all of them imparted onto you. You can feel it. They're so present with you, and they have to do this with each person, and it's really quite amazing. And of course, I saw lots of great things, great visions, and great feelings and inspiration to follow up on. But yeah, I mean, I felt in the beginning. I felt that maybe this wasn't working for me, because the first 3 or 4 ceremonies, I didn't really see anything. I didn't really feel anything. People around me are having these incredible transformative experiences, and I was thinking, wow, well, why aren't I? But then it came to the 5th ceremony, and it was like catch-up time. It was like, all right, here you go. Here's 5 ceremonies worth of stuff for you to work with now. So all I can say is really, it's been an amazing experience. I feel like I've grown from it. I think people, family and colleagues will notice some difference. I don't feel like I'm this completely different person or anything like that, but I think in the areas that count, being a more present, authentic person, and that's great in leadership, that's great in business. Of course, that's great as a father and a husband. If I can be more present with my child, when she's saying, "Daddy, Daddy, can I read you something? Or can I tell you something?" And I just think of the times in the past when I just haven't been there, or I pretended I'm listening while I'm still looking at my phone. And I saw that was really laid out for me, and during the ceremonies, really presented to me. And so it's a real, I guess, very enlightening in many ways to think that I can take this home and be a much better person altogether. And so I really thank everyone for that. The temple for making this available. I can say for sure I'll be back. Hopefully next year. I have to get the family on board. Hopefully they see the results and they will force me to come back to improve. But I'll definitely be back, and it's been wonderful, and lots to now integrate as I move back into the real world, perhaps. But it's going to be a journey. Temple of the Way of Light is, in a word, awesome. It's fantastic. The facilitators are amazing. The maestros that they have here are incredible. The shamans, the maestros and the maestros. The setting, the accommodation, the layout, the kitchen, the food. The food is incredible. I went on this diet for a month beforehand, and I didn't eat as well as I did here. I mean, it's just great food. The space is so sacred, so safe. It's so just a beautiful feeling, and it brings out the best in everyone. I mean, I've met so many great friends here. I think we'll be lifelong friends. I researched other centers, and maybe there are other good ones out there, but nothing, from what I've heard from talking with people, from what I was able to read, nothing really comes close to the temple.